Hello everyone and welcome to the spring semester of CEP 200, Intro to the Counseling Professions. My name is Dr. Gray and I'm going to be your instructor for this semester. So the point of this video is to go through the syllabus a little bit, and then we're also going to get into the Unit 1 material. So this video is going to serve as both your welcome video as well as the Unit 1 video. I am going to go through and upload unit videos for every unit just to give you some information about that counseling profession for that unit that you might not find in the videos or in the supplemental reading material that you'll be doing. So please make sure you're watching all of the unit videos. I try to keep them short and sweet because I know that they're not necessarily everyone's thing, but from feedback that I've received from other semesters, there are a number of students who do find them to be beneficial. So just make sure you're watching them, please. And we'll get into it a little bit and a little bit down further in the syllabus as to some of the pros to watching these unit videos and how this can actually help improve your grade. So welcome. What I want to do is I want to start by going through the syllabus a little bit and talking about the course itself. So almost every semester during the discussion board, like welcome posts that a lot of you have already started doing, I will find that students will say part of the reason why they enrolled in this course is to find out more about counseling and the process and interventions and things that you can be doing in session with clients. And that is not something that we are going to be covering in this particular course. That is more geared for CEP. I think it's 401 Intro to Counseling. We simply learn just about the different professions that you can go into within the counseling realm. So that is what we are going to be sticking with. I will say that there is some additional information like TED Talks and stuff that are going to be in the unit material and in the syllabus, in addition to just talking about that counseling profession. And what this content is to show you the different type of patients or clients that you might encounter in that particular profession. So for example, we're going to talk a little bit about schizophrenia in one of the TED Talks. One of them is about adverse childhood experiences. So just to give you some insight into the different type of individuals that you might encounter in each of the counseling professions. So a lot of what we're going to learn about is what is counseling, what's a counselor, what are the difference among all of the different counselors, what credentials do you need to be a particular counselor, what settings do they typically work in. And so we're going to talk about a number of different counseling professions, such as like addiction counselors, mental health counselors, career counselors, rehabilitation counselors, pastoral counselors, all that stuff. We don't jump too much into the social work side of things just because the credentials and whatnot for social work are a little bit different. But if you do have any specific questions to social work, please feel free to reach out and let me know. So as you might have noticed in the announcement, I did post the required book that you're going to need for the course. So this is going to be by Helkowski. It is a very small book, and that is intentional. I'm not a huge fan of just having you read to read and have to spend a ton of money on these big books that you're only going to use for a semester. So I have been using this same book for, I want to say, at least 5 years now. So if you know someone that's taken this course and they have a book, please get that book from them, because there's no difference among the editions or anything like that. So the book is the book if you can get it somewhere super cheap. So let's talk a little bit about the course requirements. So like, what are the different assignments that you're going to come across in this course that you're going to have to complete? So we have unit assignments, discussion boards, quizzes, journal responses, and then one final paper. So for the unit assignments, you're going to have a unit assignment for units 1 through 5. Yes, 1 through 5. There are 5 of them. They are worth 20 points. A lot of students typically try to like go in and rush through these, and the unit assignments and the discussion boards, the purpose that they serve is to kind of supplement the lack of having like a classroom conversation and discussion about things. So I really do expect a lot out of the discussion boards and the unit assignments, because, you know, aside from like journals and the final paper, these two groups of assignments make up pretty much almost half of your points for the course. So what I say is, for your unit assignments, please make sure that each response for each question is at least about 250 words. Some of the questions are very easy to answer, very like quick and straight to the point, but I want you to expand. I want to know your thought process. I want to know all of that. So that is why I do ask for about 250 words. So please make sure that you do that. Discussion boards, same concept. Your initial, so the way that this is kind of divvied up is there's going to be 4 discussion boards. What I tried to do is I tried to alternate the weeks of, or the units of the discussion boards and the quizzes. So you'll have 4 discussion boards and they are each worth 25 points. The way that this works is your initial post is going to be worth 15 of those points. You are required, and I know everyone hates this part, to comment on at least 2 of your classmates' posts. Your initial post, as well as your responses, should also be about 250 words. For the responses, I think I'm okay with them being around 200 words in your response to your classmates, but your initial post and all of your unit assignment responses should be 250 words. Going beyond that, we have 3 quizzes. These are not timed, they are open book, but please know you only have 1 attempt to do them. I often get emails from students saying that they didn't know that, asking me to reopen it. I intentionally don't allow for someone to go back and do it again, because then you could, get answers from someone else or something, and, then that would make things very easy for someone, right? So please know they are not meant to be tricky. Most of the questions are verbatim from the text. What I want you to be sure of is that you're actually taking a look at what type of question it is. So for some of them, they might be, please select all that apply. Some of them might be true or false. Some of them might be choose one for multiple choice, fill in the blank, that kind of thing. Please know I go through and I manually grade all of the quizzes. So the final grade that you get after you take the quiz is very rarely, I think with the exception of the Unit 3 quiz, is very rarely going to be the actual grade that you get, because quizzes 1 and 2 require a fill in the blank, which I have to go in and grade manually. So if you're panicking because your grade is low, please wait until I'm done grading that unit to reach out to me, just because give me some time to go through and grade those for you. Okay, the other thing with quizzes, I will give you 2 answers to every quiz in the unit video. This is incentive for students to watch the unit videos. So watch the unit video before you go in and you complete that unit's work. Next thing, journal prompts and responses. There's going to be 5 of these. They're in almost every unit, and these are each worth 20 points. These are completely private. They only go to me. No one else is able to see them. These should also be 250 words, and the journal prompts are always going to be given in the unit video as well. So sometimes students will email me asking where it is, and I'm gonna say, well, I know that you didn't watch the unit video, because then you would know where it was. So keep that in mind. And then your final project of the semester is something called an advocacy paper. The way that this one is divvied up is around Unit 4, you are going to submit via the discussion board a vulnerable population that you believe needs advocating for in the helping professions. And once you get that approved by me, you're going to get 25 points. Easiest 25 points ever. The final paper itself is going to be 100 points. And we will talk a lot about that paper and what the expectations are of it as that gets closer. But there is a folder that goes through and talks about all the different guidelines and expectations that I expect from it, and also gives you a sample paper to show you what exactly I'm looking for. So I try to make that as easy as possible. When it comes to grading, I will try to have everything graded by the end of the following unit. So for example, you are going to submit all of your Unit 1 materials by, a particular Sunday at 11:59 p.m. I will have all of those assignments graded by the end of Unit 2. So I give everyone an opportunity to submit them, then I grade them. And I give myself about 2 weeks to do that, because I think I have about 70 to 75 students. So bear with me. The other thing that I want to mention that I hate having to mention is academic integrity. Almost every single semester, I have an instance of plagiarism, so I'm just asking you, please don't do it. It's so uncomfortable for me. It's going to be uncomfortable for you. It's just not enjoyable. And also, I'm really sorry. I just noticed that my camera tipped over sideways. So let's see here. Please don't do it. All right. Also, if you ever need anything, I like to make myself pretty available. So just make sure you reach out to me via email and give me about 48 hours to respond. So usually I can respond within a day or so. I'm just trying to see. I always have things that I want to make sure I discuss, but I think we're pretty good for now. If I think of something, I'll put it in the next unit video. Okay, so a lot of students I've noticed have started the introduction where you go in the discussion board and acknowledge that you've reviewed the course materials and requirements and introduce yourself to the class. If you can comment on 2 of your classmates' posts, that would be great. I did put that in the tracking calendar. So talking a little bit more about the rest of the semester, your units are done in 2-week increments. So you have 2 weeks to complete everything that is in this unit. So for unit 1, it's going to start today, and then it's going to be over on Sunday, February 4th at 11:59 p.m. So that is how all of your units are going to run. So it's always going to end on a Sunday evening, and then the next unit is always going to start on a Monday morning. Sometimes I don't get a chance to upload the unit videos until like Monday afternoon, so just bear with me on that, but they will get posted. So for unit 1, for example, you have from the 24th to the 4th. In unit 1, we're going to cover professional orientation, the code of ethics, and connecting with the profession. So you're just getting, a good introduction to the counseling profession. We're not actually going to go through any counseling professions during this unit. So you're going to watch this video. You're going to read chapter 2. You're also going to review the ACA Code of Ethics. And what I want to mention with that is you don't have to go through and read that verbatim. Just skim it, see if there's any that pop out at you. There's going to be a couple of reflective questions in the unit video or the unit assignment about it. So just skim it, take a look, see what's there. You are going to read you're going to read 2 supplemental articles. The other thing I want to mention about the articles is sometimes these are psychoeducational articles where you're to read it, but if they are research articles, please know you don't have to go through and read everything. Only thing you have to read is the introduction, the discussion, and the conclusion. That is going to tell you what they're measuring or what they're researching, why, and then it breaks down the actual results of everything into kind of plain terms. So please know you don't have to read all that word for word. You are then going to watch the Brene Brown, The Power of Vulnerability TED Talk, complete the Unit 1 assignment, complete Journal Reflection number 1, and complete quiz number 1. So this is how this is going to work. So for Journal Reflection number 1, this is your prompt. The APA requires some accredited programs to incorporate cultural competency training into their curricula. In what formats do you think such training would be most beneficial or effective? And what format would you personally prefer? So for example, at UB in particular, we have a multicultural counseling course that fulfills this requirement. I'm curious though, do you think that this is enough? Do you think that someone might get more out of interactions with clients from various cultural backgrounds, maybe attending some type of cultural group or something like that? Get creative. How do you think people would best learn about cultures different from themselves so that they can have this multicultural counseling background? So reflect on that in your prompt and let me know if you have any questions about that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to take a look at quiz number 1. This is where you're going to get your 2 answers. Let me sometimes it's a little tricky and it doesn't want to let me in the quiz. Okay, here we go. So let's see. One of the questions A counselor, or I'm sorry, a professional counselor is considered to be a clinician with a master's degree or higher. The answer to this is true. The reason for that is because when you go and you get a master's degree, you are working towards a professional type of element. So for example, if you wanted to go get your LMHC, you have to have a master's degree. That's a licensed mental health counselor. Or if you wanted to be a certified rehabilitation counselor, you would have to have a master's degree and complete a program. So in order to be considered a professional counselor and focus in on one particular helping profession, you do have to have a master's degree. So that is true. And then let's see here. The other one is one must have an undergraduate degree in psychology or a similar field in order to get a master's degree in a counseling profession. The answer to this is false. You do not necessarily have to have an undergraduate in counseling and health and human services or any of that. So kind of going back to that like professional degree kind of thing, you are looking and expanding your profession to become a professional when you go for your master's degree. So people have undergrads in sociology and go to counseling or go to grad school for counseling, all kinds of things. So, and even like in this course, you'll find perhaps among your classmates that a lot of students in here are hoping to become law students or are nursing students or are in different majors. And I think it's because a lot of people are starting to really appreciate the knowledge of counseling and having resources to provide to people if you're working with people in any capacity. So there are your two quiz answers. So like I said, this unit is going to be due, all of this is going to be due on February 4th. If you have not completed the introduction materials, that's okay. The intro unit and the unit 1 material that's all going to be due on the 4th. I can't expect students to start working on work before the semester starts, and especially if anyone had done a winter class that literally just ended like last Friday. So one big thing that I almost forgot to mention, late assignments. So I have to hold a hard line with late assignments. I've been burned quite a bit in the past. So if you know before the unit is due that you're not going to be able to finish the material for that unit, you must email me requesting an extension before 11:59 on that Sunday that it's due. I need to know ahead of time that you're not going to get the material done. This prevents people from forgetting about coursework or, weeks later asking if they can still complete stuff from like units before. The answer, unfortunately, is going to be no. And it's honestly not feasible for me to go back and be grading a ton of old work. So once the end of the semester comes, if you're asking to complete something that was from like units ago, unfortunately, the answer is going to be no. So again, if you want an extension, and I'm pretty lenient with extensions, I just need to know, I need you to email me and request one before the actual material is due. So if you email me at 10 a.m. on Sunday, that's still before it's due. So you just let me know what you need, but I do have to stand pretty firm with that. I think that's everything. So if you have any questions or you need anything, let me know, and welcome to the course. Take care, everyone.